Hello. Welcome back. Gonna play a Sicilian because I need some more practice with my old favorite here. Any minute. Happy to be back playing some longer time controls. Bishop c4. Gonna develop. Guard some central squares here. He hasn't broken the center yet. So there's potential for some closed structures. I'm gonna go ahead and put my queen on c7 to put some pressure on this diagonal. And c3. Okay. So he wants to break in the center and take back in the center. So this is his idea. Knight f3, d4, takes. I'm going to go knight f3. Continue developing. He's going to push. He's going to back it up with the pawn, with the rook before pushing d4. In typical instinct is for me to push push a6, but there's no reason because there's no knight here to jump into these squares. That would be kind of a waste. My light square bishop might be a bit of a problem if I do that. So maybe b6 is the idea to fianchetto. Right now, if he pushes in the middle, I just go knight g4, and I have 3 attackers. He has 2 defenders, but then he pushes d4 and takes, and his center is pretty solid. So if I go bishop to d6, and he pushes, he's forking 2 pieces, but I have 3, he has 2, so I could take it in that instance. He would need to push first. So bishop d6, d4, takes, and then what? He's threatening the fork again. But if I go knight to g4, he just seals out my bishop. Hmm. You might just have to go d6. Or just go bishop e7 to castle. I think that's the idea. Get my king out of the center um, because of this. Because if he goes d4, I'm not sure that I want to take. Um, but if I don't take, that gives him the option of pushing. And then I do want to be able to take without him taking back, attacking the knight and attacking my king. So the bishop move there was to shield my king. And now think about castling. I might also have this trick taking where if the rook takes, then I have d5 forking the rook and the bishop, but he doesn't have to take. He can capture his own pawn. Um, but then I get the bishop pair. So can I do that now? Can I win this pawn? Takes, takes. I get the bishop pair. And he's got a rook in the middle of the board to target. I think I'm going to do that. It's a central pawn. For a central pawn, if he takes. Otherwise, I get two pawns in the center. And if he takes, I get the bishop pair. So I think that's advantageous for me. His other option is to take and to allow me to fork and then take, and I could take back. So he pushes the pawn, pushes the pawn. Which attacks and prevents me from playing d4. So that's something I should have calculated. If I take now, he takes with the queen and threatens mate and threatens my knight. If I move the knight to attack the bishop, he takes the knight. I'm down a knight. My fork trick doesn't work because of this push, and I should have seen that. Or perhaps I can attack the bishop here. Yeah, I'll just save the piece by attacking the bishop here. Now, if he pins me, I just move the queen and attack the bishop. Okay. My knight's still attacked. So, saving the knight. And now my pieces are starting to look a little bit out of place. A little discombobulated. It's tempting to castle to get my king out of the center, but then I'm looking at pretty stout attack from white. Can I protect? Can I defend it? Am I running into Greek gift ideas? Castles, sacks, takes, check. My bishop gets the knight. Check. Queen picks back up the bishop after the king moves. So there's no Greek gift. All right. So we castle. Tempted to bring the queen back. Rather than attacking the pawn, because that just, I don't know if the queen's well placed over here. Still defends the knight. It would here as well. If takes, takes. Yeah, I'm going to attack the pawn. Going to provoke this, which keeps my knight out of this square. I'm tempted to push c4 myself so that I can prevent this chain. So I push, he pushes, and this square is occupied, so I lose my knight. I am going to drop a piece if I push. So I've also done a pretty good job of sealing in my light square bishop. So I need to do something to free that piece. Um, which may have been a good reason for playing the queen back to d7 or d8. Oh, I feel so rusty. 6 minutes. Opponent's still over 15. Knight here and here to protect my king side. Now it's an ugly looking knight maneuver. But I think it's necessary so that I can start freeing up my bishop. Be nice if he'd take here and I get to take, and that would just help solve some of my problems. Nope, okay. So he's gonna form a battery. Pretty normal idea. His game is just kind of playing itself right now. So I develop my knight to protect, and he's gonna maybe challenge my knight, threaten to take it off and checkmate. And my answer is g6 to blunt the queen bishop battery. Wonder if he'll be sneakier about it and try to bait the knight off in some way. Okay. That is a nasty looking nail. Positionally, I'm starting to feel very, very cramped. My only response is to back up the bishop. Does free up the square for my knight. Ends my dreams of opening up the bishop this way. My position looks very ugly. I've gotten into a very nasty looking position. There's a gnat buzzing around my face here. I've gone wrong positionally, but I think I have some defensive resources. So that I have to guard against checkmate. So that's a required move. Now it'd be normal for him to attack the rook. Try to get his knight here, swing his queen over, and checkmate me here. Oh, these poor bishops are entombed. I need to offer a queen trade to try and free up my pieces. I'm okay with a broken structure. I just need some freedom of movement. I need to push this pawn. Even if he doesn't take the queen, I just need to push the pawn to get the bishop out. Or I'm gonna get smothered. Okay, he blocks. Does not want the queen trade. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't either. This move really blocks in my queen, frees my bishop, but blocks in my queen. And I like the idea of maintaining pressure here. Because I would love to eliminate that nail, if at all possible. So I think I'm going to try this knight maneuver, see if he falls for this. Any opportunity to trade pieces will be kind of beneficial for me. The more pieces that come off the board, the weaker this pawn becomes. So he is going to let me trade some pieces here. But now he has the bishop guarding the nail. I'm going to take that. And then I'm really going to I'm going to try and open up the queen side for some activity. So his queen's tied here at the moment, and he's going to need to devote some resources to defending this, which is a thorn in my side. I would love to get rid of that if I can divert. If I can get some overworked pieces here, but now he's got this corner to tuck away his bishops, so that's going to be protected forever and ever, I think, unless I trade off the dark square bishops. That's a challenge. But let's go ahead and skewer this. That leaves this unprotected, though. So my dark square complex is pretty weak over here. I don't think I would actually make this trade. I just want to put pressure. I'm not looking at trading this piece because I don't want to leave his dark square bishop on the board without mine because of these dark square weaknesses over here. Just providing a little pressure here, making him think, providing an opportunity for maybe some tactics around this square. Bishop, knight, queen. Making him think about taking there, yeah. Yeah, that blunts this. That there's no protection on this at the moment. If I take it, I'm allowing a discover on my queen by one of these two pieces. Queen takes. I have to calculate this because that's a big thorn in my side, and this might be my only opportunity to take it. Queen takes. First idea would be knight takes pawn. That hangs the bishop. So there, no, it doesn't because the knight move protects the bishop. And queen takes, knight takes, and queen back here threatening mate. That looks pretty good. Queen takes and knight here, and I'm just up a clean pawn. I don't think I can afford to not take this. I think this is an opportunity to keep material equal, but then I just come here and threaten mate, and then I pick up the knight. Yeah. I think tactics saved my hide here. There might have been a better sequence for him there, but those were the two natural looking moves. Be very interested to see. He saves mate and the okay. He saves mate and the piece. That's that's a good move. Okay. So now I have an exposed king to kind of worry about, but I've gotten rid of this thorn in my side. If I could deflect that knight, I'd have mate. I could look at shuffling my king and bringing the rook, but that provides an opportunity to pin this knight. Hmm. It's a pawn count. Is pawn count equal? One pawn for one? No, I'm up a pawn. At the moment, I am up a pawn. I have two central pawns. But I'm under 3 minutes on time. Well, let's bring this back and look at trading pieces then. I'll trade the dark square bishop is because I'm up a pawn. Although that trade allows him to win his pawn back, but that's okay. I'll have an unchallenged passer in the middle. It hasn't moved yet, but he takes, which he does not do. Got limited ideas here. It's the check, thankfully, because I don't want to have to trade queens. Well, maybe trading queens wouldn't be so bad, actually. Might get me a step closer to getting my knight here on the G2 square as well. 2.5 minutes. So let's take. And let's expand in the center and try to press our advantage with the passed pawn. If he takes, I have two passed pawns. I have connected passed pawns. Great advantage to go into an endgame with. As long as I guard against mate, I'm good. Setting up a check here. Which I do need to worry about. So my move is what? Cut the queen off. Go with one passed pawn. I don't have a lot of time for calculation here, so good moves. If I see them, I'm going to need to play them fairly quickly just to try and keep some time for the end game, because I think this is going to go to an end game. Fortunately for me, I think I might have weathered the storm here. Positionally, I was very, very um, disadvantaged, and I think I've squeezed my way out of it. Okay, so attack the rook, protect the knight. Yeah. Hmm. If I push this now, I open up this for the knight. Don't like that as well. I'm not worried about this as much anymore, so let's get our king out of the pin. Think about bringing a rook over. Maybe lift this rook. Maybe lift this rook. I don't know. Now this pawn's under attack. So we just defend it. Just bring the queen and defend it. And lift this rook because it can already be on the 7th rank, and swing this rook over to defend the knight. So that gets the most activity out of, or the most utility out of my rooks. It's not necessarily activity, but there's a lot of attacking pieces over here, and uh, am worried about checkmate threats if I slip up here. So defending here, I'm still 2 moves away from getting this rook active. That's three moves instead of two. So lift this rook 1, 2 instead of 1, 2, 3. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Swing the rook over and attack it again. Then maybe I just push. Or maybe I liquidate. Maybe I just get a piece off the board. Yeah, yeah, let's do that. That's okay. We can do that. Eliminates one of his, oh, attacking pieces. I didn't think about that. Opening up a battery for his rook. Um, doubled pawns are, I can deal with doubled pawns though. Now I'm kind of hesitant to put my rook over here because the knight will still be pinned after a rook battery. I don't know that I want to give up my queen. Maybe for two rooks. Queen for two rooks is always worth considering. I've got a pass pawn he's got to remember though. So I don't want to give him this square for the knight. What if I liquidate? What if I just liquidate the knight? Oh, good move. Good move. That's a heck of a move. Congrats on finding that. But I'll just take it. And we're still equal. And you've got a pass pawn to worry about. So breaking this open. Um, I don't think you've got the time to take this now. You've got to get back to defend my passed pawn. Just going to auto take that back. To save a few precious seconds. Oh, now I'm going to defend it. Now I have a protected pass pawn. And if he ever tries to undercut me with this pawn, I'm going to march. And I mean, okay, I'll protect this one. And if he tries to get this one, I get to put my rook behind this one and then jump up here with my rook, which is what I'll do. Now I'm threatening to push, so he's got to blockade. I've got this pawn defended. And now I've got another passer. So I'm going to shift my rook right back here and start marching the c pawn. And I think I can comfortably win this position. Unless I mean, he can give up a rook for both of these pawns, but I've got a, two rooks versus one. I think I'm good. So you can have that pawn at this point. Takes, 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 takes. Nope, I take here. And there's no stopping a queen at this point. He takes, I just march, and good game. Ah, I had to work for that one. I do feel very out of shape in my longer time control chess chops. Let's do a game review and see where I botched my opening a bit. Well, they've changed the look of the game review. Um, I played that like a 1350. Not my best. Definitely not my best. Dubious opening and middle game. Played okay in the end game. So that was a wild game, ups and downs, backs and forth, lots of like mistakes and blunders on both people's parts. Um, I played six great moves though, probably following, the six mistakes that I had. But let's go ahead and start the review. And uh, this looks different. I don't know if it's because I don't have my premium subscription anymore or what, but um, so we're in book. This was a bit questionable. Um, it did call that the best move. So instead of the queen to c7, I don't have the option that I used to have for what the best move is. Huh. Guess I have to go to self-analysis for that. Um, let's just look at it for a second and say that, I mean, this was an option. Um, knight to c6 is also an option. Hmm. Well, I liked the way it was, chess.com. I don't know about this new format, but okay, I'm doing fairly well here. White still has a 0.8 edge. The bishop move was the best move. I'm happy about that one. He shouldn't have broken in the center just yet. He should have pressed. He should have pressed with e5. But my taking was a mistake, and in hindsight, I totally see why. This is where I start to go off the rails positionally, and I end up in a very bad spot, allowing that push right there. He found the best move. Hats off to him. I saved my piece, luckily. I found that move, and that was a mistake. He should have piled up more pressure on the knight, which I thought he was going to do, actually. I found the best move. Castling was a mistake. I do feel the need to get some pieces out, and castling does seem to be castling into white's pressure. Um, so maybe just g6 here. b6, sorry, b6. That was a mistake. He should have developed the knight. This was another mistake of mine because I blocked in. I guess the arrow is showing you what the best move was. This was another error on my part. I should not have blocked in that pawn. I should have just gone ahead with this because this knight moved allowed the nail to come in. I just wasn't on top of my game today. I do feel fortunate to have won this. A mistake. I should have given up the rook for an attack on the queen. There's a blunder. Gives me the edge. Protecting the pawn. Oh, it allowed me to liquidate some material here. Um, that was a great move. But I shouldn't have taken. It was a mistake. Not totally displeased. I did recognize the fact that I was never going to make that trade. I just wanted to get my rooks connected. I wanted to get my bishop active, but these dark square weaknesses around my king are a significant weakness, and getting rid of my piece dedicated to the dark squares would not have made sense at all. So maybe just developing the knight to attack the bishop with ideas of maybe redeploying my bishop in a fianchetto position would have been a more natural approach. And this allowed me to get the nail out of the way. Computer wants me to take on the C file first, but okay. That was a good move. This was a good move. That was a good move. And here I shouldn't have traded. Should have advanced my knight, but we traded. And the knight move is a blunder here. I should have protected the knight with the queen and threatened his knight. My vision was not the top notch today. I feel I feel a little cheap calling that a great move. That really seems like an obvious, like, it is a great move, but didn't seem too difficult to see. Right now we're playing about even till I tucked my king away. Lots of back and forth here. That was a great move. I did feel like, ooh, blunder. I did feel like my isolated pawn was my ticket. Like liquidating pieces and just piling behind my passed pawn, not my isolated pawn, my passed pawn. He had this move already here, and that's why this move was a blunder. Um, because at that point I don't have the knight here attacking the queen. He had this opportunity already, and I'm just down in exchange. So this move made this move not a good move. If he'd have founded a move earlier, um, I probably would have been in a bit of trouble. But I think from here on out, I mean, I give back a little bit of advantage here and there, but um, my my past pawns are just too strong. And there's just nothing he can do. Well, clearly I have some work to do to um, get back to my strength of play that I like, that I'm used to. Like uh, I don't feel like this game was quite as poorly played as all of the question marks indicate, because you do have to find the moves ultimately. I think this was a messy game, and I was fortunate to win it. Um, but yeah, thanks for watching. Come back and enjoy some more chess.